Welcome to the 23rd episode of the Perfectly Imperfect Spiritual Podcast. My today's guest, Holly Finucan, is a dedicated intuitive healer, Reiki Master, requiring the subconscious mind and single mother to her beautiful daughter, Lexi. Holly's journey through life has been shaped by overcoming significant trauma, including depression, suicide, postpartum psychosis, and toxic relationships. While many might view these experiences as setbacks, Holly embraced them as catalysts for personal growth and transformation. This path has led her to create a platform to support others in overcoming their own challenges and living their best lives. Holly utilizes rapid resolution therapy to address the deep-rooted issues that contribute to negative emotions, limiting beliefs, and destructive behaviors. This method clears the mind of negative beliefs, reorients it towards new possibilities, and helps individuals move beyond past regrets, fears, shame, guilt, resentment, and anger, and future anxieties. By releasing blocked energy and resolving conflicts in the unconscious mind, clients can experience lasting, positive change, leading to true physical and emotional healing. Holly's mission is to help others find relief and empowerment, transforming their pain into a pathway for a brighter, more fulfilling future. Welcome, Holly, to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
It's an honor to have you, and what a beautiful introduction. As you know, we've already talked a little bit in DMs that this is a completely unstructured, unplanned podcast, and it's for both of us to decide what we want to talk about. And the first question for you that comes to my mind is like, would you be able to choose any of your life stories, anything that you would like to share with the viewers and the listeners that has brought you to the point where you are now, because you help, I know, through your own personal experience, and you're able to transform your clients' lives because of the knowledge that you've gone through throughout your life. So I'm curious, any of the life experiences that comes to your mind that you would like to start that conversation with?
I'd probably say the biggest one would have been when I got postpartum psychosis. I really, truly believe, this is just my take on things, is that I had a lot of childhood trauma that was not resolved.
Mm-hmm.
And getting pregnant, doing all the things. Let's back up a little bit. My mom had postpartum and was in and out of the psych when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
And a therapist, at the age of 13, a therapist said to me, "Oh, are you fearful that when you have a child, you'll turn out to be like your mother?"
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say is that was like implanted seed that I was fearful from 13 up until I got pregnant, of like, oh my God, I don't want that to happen to me. So when I did get pregnant, she was planned. I had arranged what I thought as like people in my life of like, okay, like I'm really nervous about this. I hired a midwife, not a doctor, because I heard they're more hands-on, and I explained my fears and everything. And I ended up still getting postpartum psychosis, which I think were a combination of hormones, not having the support I needed at that time, a lack of sleep, not taking care of myself, and then just like so stressed and worried that I was going to have that happen to me, that it ended just a mix of like a lot of stuff. So why I want to share that story is because a lot of people believe of whatever authority tells you that is your destiny to life, which I just believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say, like, if you wanted to be an athlete, if you wanted to do something like outrageous in life, you would never hire a coach that's like, no, you can never have that. If you're like dead set, this is the journey I want to go, and I'm going to put all my effort into it, and before you even start, they're like, I don't believe you can do that. You would never hire them. And so during my journey, I remember, so I was in the psych ward, they had, and just remember that I was not listening to their advice. I was not listening to their rules. So two nurses pinned me down while another one injected me with, I don't even know what it was, but it knocked me out. And I woke up on a mattress in an isolation where there was a guard, enclosed guard, watching over me. And so there was a mattress on the floor and me, and I was so emotional, like, what did I do in life to get me here? Like, what happened? Where did I screw up? And so I just started pondering. And in that moment, I did, I guess you would say, pray, talk to anything that was listening, and just said, like, I promise if you just teach me, all I want is to be happy. I wasn't happy in life. I'd taken many paths in life that I could say are wrong, but I really don't think so, because it all led me to here. So I remember being really highly medicated. My dad came to visit me and he said, Holly, like, what happened? What ended up? And I'm like, Dad, I'll take any medication that you want me to take. Just get me out of here. And he's like, Holly, that's not how this works. You know how the system works, just because of the experience I had with my mother. And he's like, remember what you need to do in order to get out of here. And it's almost like a switch went off in my brain of like, oh yeah, I get it. So I literally was like a robot, did everything they said, did all the things. So when it came to my evaluation day, the psychiatrist was having a meeting to evaluate me to see if I was okay out in the world again. And she said, by your evaluation, you are allowed out, but I don't recommend that. She goes, Holly, if you leave here today, you'll be worse off than you are right now, and you won't get better, and you have a daughter, and you need to take care of yourself before your daughter. And I looked her in the eye and I said, you will never see my face again, and I'm leaving today. So I went through 3 different psychiatrists until I found one that was on my team with what I wanted for life. I did not want to be on medication. That was my choice, just all of the experiences I've had. And I know this, I've read the side effects, all the things. And I'm just like, there has to be another way of healing other than the Western society of we're just going to help. And so then I left there. I'm not going to say it was an easy journey, but I was able to get off medication 1.5 years. Like I just want to put this disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. And I would never tell someone to cold turkey medication, because medication could be very dangerous on what happens if you've been on it and you just suddenly. And then after that, Reiki energy kind of found me. I was in another place of like emptiness, of like, okay, I'm off the medication, things. I didn't feel anything, like life just, I had a daughter, but I was just like, eh. And someone introduced me to this lady who was doing Reiki, and then that set me on the spiritual side, of which opened up so many things. And so the main nugget there is, if you see a path that you would like to take on your life and someone else doesn't see it for you, you can always get another opinion. You can always hire somebody else. Like, I don't think people understand that you can fire a doctor, that you can fire a psychiatrist, that you can fire a therapist. Like, you are essentially paying them. Well, in Canada for doctors and stuff, OHIP, but like essentially you pay taxes. So you have to remember, these people are on your team, and you do not want someone on your team who is not, that doesn't believe in you.
And this is something important what you're mentioning, because I've gone through something, well, different yet similar, but I was in a very abusive relationship and I went through lots of trauma. And straight after I've left, I was experiencing high levels of anxiety, panic attacks. So the doctor put me straight away on medication, and I only took that medication for a week or so, because there were so many side effects. And I also had that awareness that like there is another way. I didn't want that medication. But I remember I found for myself a center that should help people to heal their trauma. And I booked an appointment. And it was the worst possible experience that I've experienced, because not only I was told that I was a horrible mom, that I was re-traumatizing my children, but also during that application process, they wanted me to sign documents that they are going to then make decisions on my behalf. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to do that. Well, I thought it was like a free service and I would be able to maybe access some therapies. But yeah, that experience was horrible. And then what you're saying, it's so important to not allow. I was like so angry of people trying to label me, and that's why I didn't go to the doctor, because I know I developed CPTSD, and I feel you have to live with that. It doesn't happen that I go through panic attacks right now as often, because I found coping ways of how to support my nervous system. Uh, but yeah, it's been so difficult because we want to find support, we want to get help, but if we seek it in a traditional way, then that can provide so much more trauma and problems. And for me, the spiritual path has really supported me as well. So it's beautiful how you're mentioning about actually Reiki founding you, and then you being able to find your own ways of like healing yourself and then helping other people to heal themselves as well, as an example. So that's beautiful.
Yeah. The other thing is I think because I've had many of those experiences where I get so mad, like, why would you say that to an individual? Of like, they diagnosed me with psychosis, they diagnosed me as bipolar. Oh my God. And so a diagnosis means you can't heal from it, which is untrue. I do believe that. I believe that most of these mental health diagnoses are just unhealed trauma. And once you heal the trauma, they like to label people and put them in boxes, which I just don't agree with. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So basically, when they're telling someone, what happens is most people, once they get a diagnosis, they then attach that as their identity of this is who, and this is how I show up. And so you have to accept me because I'm just bipolar. I'm just depressed. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. What if it's just a feeling that you're having? And we can release that feeling, because it's just things going on within the subconscious mind. So yes, I found Reiki and it opened up so many doors. And then I think in 2022, I was really getting tired of shadow work, because it's exhausting at times, heavy stuff. And I had tried it and I was like, you know what? I just need a quicker, easier, funner way of healing. And then I got introduced to rapid resolution therapy. I'd been studying the subconscious mind, probably for when I left. So back in 2020 or 2015, I've been studying the subconscious mind, different books and all the things. But then I found rapid resolution therapy and I was like, this is a game changer. Like, it was like, wow, because what is happening, we're either having it's a perceived threat that's going on, and your mind is number one job is to protect you and keep you safe. And so when people are experiencing panic attacks or any of these emotions, it's your body trying to signal for you to do something. Whether it's anger or fear. Most emotions will go under those two categories, anger or fear. And when you're angry, all your blood rushes to your jaw so that you can physically bite harder. And fear is your body getting strong so that you can physically outrun a lion, which are not useful, because we can't go around biting people. And we're not getting chased by a lion.
Mhm.
So there are things you can do within the subconscious mind to clear what we call a data blip within the
Mhm.
mind, so that it gets updated that the traumatic event that you went through is over and done with.
Mhm. Interesting. Please
Yeah,
tell more.
yeah. Okay, so like, let's use an example of a war vet that goes to war. They experience like really shitty, traumatic stuff. And then they come home. It's been 5 years later. They've now been diagnosed probably with PTSD.
Mhm.
And they pretty much say they have to live with it. And then they go to experience fireworks. Me and you could go enjoy the fireworks because we haven't had that same experience. However, a war vet, a lot of them are having like panic attacks, hiding underneath the couch, whatever. And what's happening is the mind has attached meaning that loud bang means death.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter what it is. So it's attached to grenade and fireworks, same thing.
Mhm.
I need to survive. And what's happening is that the mind just never got updated, the unconscious. Logically, people like, I get it, I'm not there. But the thing is your unconscious controls 95% of what happens. So then the mind never got updated, like, hey, you've been through some real awful shit, but it's done and over with, and you survive that stuff. So and even though they're only reacting whenever they hear the loud bang, that's playing in the subconscious mind 24/7, all the time, meaning their energy is depleted, meaning their body's ability to heal itself isn't at like where it should be, because it's using the mind's using all the energy to go back and try and change that previous event to make sure it never happened. However, it's impossible to do that because it did happen.
Mhm.
And so what's really good about rapid resolution therapy is that it clears the event so that you can still remember it, but you're neutral towards
Mhm.
it. So like, yeah, it's like, I remember I had a shower every day. I could tell you all about it, but I have no attached emotions. I can also talk about, I've had some pretty traumatic experiences in my life where I was sexually abused by a family member. I was raped. I can go into detail and tell you about those experiences, but I have no triggered emotions because
Mhm.
get it, that means nothing about me, and it's over and done with.
Mhm.
And it's not playing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That it
So
is possible, that it's feasible.
yes, and it is possible. And that's the thing, is that I think in our society, it's been told it's not possible. That, oh shit, it happened to you. Now you're labeled here and you're going to stay in this box, and we'll give you some coping skills
Mhm.
to handle the anxiety or to handle the panic attacks. I used to have panic attacks. I can't remember the last time I probably had a panic attack was in 2014.
Mhm. Mhm. So you've managed to find a way. And yeah, for me, I had one maybe some months ago. It happened out of the blue, but throughout the years also, I've managed to find my own ways to heal, and it's the spirit world that has really helped me. But I do remember, and anyone who went through any trauma, like we are aware that they're like we get that sense of threat all of a sudden, and it's not in a way real, but to our nervous system, to our bodies, it is real.
Yes.
So it took me a long time. I remember a couple of years ago, I had a suspected heart attack, and I had to go to the hospital, and it happened while I was driving with the children. It was during COVID, side effects of things that were going on that time. And then it took me months to be able to drive safely, because I would be getting strong panic attacks. But also I was very, very sure that, because people or some even therapists were telling me, oh, maybe you need to have a break from like driving. I'm like, no, there are ways of how I can cope. And I've been, well, in a gentle way, like exposing myself. So I carried on driving, and then I came up with a game with my children, like to distract my brain, and tapping helped me. And then I don't know how it happened, but it's the spirit realm that for me, at least, like they help me to like heal. And I've done like lots of clearing, energetic clearing, like with them. But it's so promising, and it's so important for us. And I'm so grateful that you're sharing it, that you don't have to live with those traumatic well, the memories of the experiences, that there is hope and that you can carry on enjoying your life. So that's so important.
If you want, we can do a little thing around the panic attack. That's up to you though.
I'm always up for it, because so many of my clients that I read for, and especially when I work with women and I help them with self-love and confidence and anything to do with self-sabotage, and 9 out of 10 women that I met, they've either gone through like panic attacks or they've experienced a sense of anxiety. So yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing, I love that you say that, is that I really do believe that in like the realm of spiritual thing, like as a coach or a mentor or a healer, I do believe that we attract individuals who like a past version of ourselves. I have many clients who I'm like, oh my goodness, I went through this like 2 years ago, and then I use my skills that I learned to just speed up their process. And so
Yes.
like you're attracting individuals who are in this like similar area where you've already healed certain things that you can help them now speed up the process.
Definitely.
And I believe that hiring a coach, a mentor, a healer collapses time for us.
And it's so more efficient than a standard, well, that's my biased opinion, than a standard spoken therapy. Because for me, well, that's my belief, a standard therapy for people who went through trauma can re-traumatize you, because you're not doing anything with your subconscious mind and you're relieving your trauma.
Yes. And anything we focus on, we produce more of. And in talk therapy, you're only dealing with the conscious mind, which is 5%. And they use logic. The unconscious is not logical at all.
No.
So in order to engage in the unconscious, it's a totally different language. So if you're open to it.
I'm open to, yes. Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so you said you were having a panic attack. Are you able to just close your eyes and cause that feeling for me for just 3 seconds?
Okay. And then the listeners will know what's going on, where this is, because yeah, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. Open your eyes. Okay, so what I'm about to tell you, I'm not saying it's true or not true. I'm going to say it's just a way of thinking. And if we can be on board with it, it's just a way of thinking, then I'm able to cause a shift. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's say that it was your mind that caused that emotion. Most individuals will think it's situational, meaning that guy hurt my feelings and it's because of him why I'm upset. Or that my house burned down and I lost everything and that's why I'm upset. And I'm not saying it's not true or not, like, I'm not saying it's not true, but what I'm saying is I can't go out there and change the world for you. You came here, you brought your mind. The shift that I can have is on the way we perceive things. That makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. So when the mind, you did exactly what I asked you to do. Your mind caused a feeling. How did the mind cause the feeling? Did a thought come to mind? Did a picture?
It's always the thought first. It's always, yeah, well, for me.
What was the thought?
The thought, I'm going to die. I can't breathe.
Okay. So now that blip that's in the system, can we represent it with a color, either black, white, or a color?
Black.
Black. Okay. Was there any shape or any?
A spiky
black. Okay. Perfect. We're done with that. Okay. Let's see that thought. I'm going to die. Let's judge the hell out of it. Okay. So do you like whiteboards, blackboards? What would you prefer, a blackboard or a whiteboard? You know, the ones you draw on?
Yeah. Blackboard.
Okay, so see the blackboard and let's see the thought, I'm going to die. Okay? We're all going to die. Right? No one gets out of here alive.
Yes.
Correct? And so let's judge it. Is this thought serving you?
No.
No. And I want you to look at that thought, and I want you to say, that thought had me. Can you say that out loud? That thought had me.
That thought had me.
I now have that thought.
I now
I now
have that thought.
Yeah. Most people, there's thoughts and then they cling on to it. So like, just say you're out walking and you seen garbage, you would never pick it up and like cling it to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a thought. That we have so many thoughts. I can't even remember, but it's thousands and thousands of thoughts per day. And so that thought has come in, and it's almost like the mind has grabbed it and be like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now you can look at it out here instead of having it in your mind, look at it out here and be like, let's look at it and judge it. Am I going to die?
Mm-hmm.
We will.
Mm-hmm.
None of us are getting out alive.
Mm-hmm.
And so can I ask, what is the fear around I'm going to die?
When those panic attacks happens, because I can use rational minds. Okay, that thought is attached to me leaving my children without anyone responsible to look after them for me.
Okay. How old are your children?
9 and 11.
Oh, I have an 11-year-old. Such a good age. Okay. Do you have something set up, say, if you were going to leave within the next while?
No, well, the thing is that I think I've overcome that fear, and it's beautiful what you're saying, because I've been actually using that analogy of the spike ball, and actually that has helped with my own panic attacks. I've been the external observer, and I've been like telling, even it helped me to tell that like you're not me, like you have no power. No, I have that deep knowing in the spirit realm, and my soul knows that we are all crossing over. So I don't have a fear of death. But then the logical, like that episode that's to do with the car accident, brings me back somehow that this was a physical threat. This was like real. This happened.
Okay. So what is happening is like your logical mind gets it. Your unconscious hasn't got the memo.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So let's, if you're okay with it, go back to the car accident,
mm-hmm.
and we're going to update the mind.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want you to do is I want you to talk about the accident, but you're going to talk about it as her or she. You're not going to say I. So tell me what happened in the car accident.
Mm-hmm. So she was driving the car.
Mm-hmm.
The kids were arguing at the back. And all of a sudden, she got a stabbing pain from her heart up her neck to her head. She started feeling sweaty. She experienced cold sweat, and she almost passed out. She managed to drive quickly to the nearest car park, and then asked for help.
Okay, perfect. Open your eyes. You did really great job at explaining that. And I just want to say she did what there was needed to be done. She was experiencing symptoms and she pulled over to keep her kids safe and herself safe, right? You did all that.
Yes.
Right. And so if it happened again, you would know exactly what to do.
Yes.
Okay. I want you, so now what I want you to do is I'm going to count from 5 to 1. And you're just going to play out the scenario, okay, in your mind.
In my mind, quietly, just okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and we're just going to speed through it. Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Open your eyes. Okay. Now I want you to close your eyes, and you're going to repeat after me. Okay. There is nothing to be done.
There's nothing to be done.
It's already done.
It's already done.
It's already over.
It's already over.
There's nothing for you to do.
There's nothing for you to do.
It's done. It's over.
It's done. It's over.
Okay, open your eyes. Okay, now play out that scene again. How is that feeling?
It makes me emotional.
Okay,
I
yeah.
have tears, but it makes me feel hopeful that it is possible to not repeat that pattern. So like,
Right.
so
So,
I'm feeling that.
and sometimes, sorry, I interrupted, but sometimes tears are like a release of emotions that that
Mhm.
are healthy for us as well. I'd like to do one more step with you if you're open to that.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so just give me 2 seconds and
Because you're demonstrating then to all of the viewers and listeners how they can work
yeah.
with you, how you can support. And yeah, thank you for
Yeah,
doing
and
the explanation.
the other thing I want to point out just for the listeners is that if you've had a troubling experience, I do not recommend you doing this on your own
Mhm.
because it's my job when I can see an individual to pull them back out of it.
Mhm.
I don't recommend someone doing this, like replay your event
Oh
by
no,
yourself.
because then you
Yeah.
can stay in the trauma and then you can really.
Yeah. Okay. So what I want you to do is find a spot on the wall, like just look above your screen, find a
Okay.
spot.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Zero in on that spot. That's perfect. And stay focused on the spot on the wall and begin to imagine that you're looking through the wall about 6 inches to a foot past the wall. There's a beautiful flower. You're looking through the wall at the flower. That is
Mhm.
perfect. Then, as you picture the flower on the other side of the wall, tell me what color you see.
Pink.
Perfect. Yes. And that flower is a bud. Is it a bud or is it blooming?
It's blooming.
Awesome. That's perfect. And as you continue to focus there, you'll notice that after a while, your eyes have been blinking and they're starting to get heavier and heavier. I just want you to close your eyes. That's it. And as your eyes are resting, you rest. And you can notice that you can still picture that flower. And you can even picture the wall that you were looking at and through to see the flower. At the
Mhm.
same time, you become aware of your breath. Of course, you can breathe more slowly, you can breathe more deeply, or just let your body to continue to breathe for you. So you can be aware of your breath, and as you're consciously breathing, a thought will take your attention somewhere else. And then you will no longer be conscious of your breath because it's not about keeping your mind still. It's about keeping your mind quiet. Some people misunderstand this. They think that I'm saying that they're supposed to have a clear mind, an open mind, a focused mind, a quiet mind, a still mind. But that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying it's possible to be aware of your breath, and that is fine. And it's possible that you're not conscious of your breath and not conscious of not being conscious, and that's fine too. And it's possible that you become aware and become conscious that you're not conscious of your breath, which will be which will make you conscious of your breath, and that's fine too. So your mind will be in one of these places. And as you continue to move from place to place, that's what continues to keep your mind open. Therefore, take in, absorb, integrate, and act on whatever benefits you. Each time that we engage in this process, your mind will keep going deeper and deeper and more responsive. And there's things that we talked about that the unconscious had just not got the memo. And right now, you don't need to know exactly what needs to be done, but just know that things are clearing out, moving, releasing for your mind to be updated, clear, present, of where you're enjoying to drive with your children. And I see you in the passenger side of in the driver's side of taking control of your life and feeling at ease, peaceful, responsive, integrating what is good for you to do, possible to do. Yes. You may notice that there's always energy moving. Most people aren't consciously aware that this is happening all the time. And just like the energy is moving throughout your body, things are healing, naturally healing all the time. And as we clear out past events, this will give you more energy towards other areas of your life to be more creative, to see more opportunities, to have more pleasure, satisfaction, joy, humor. And those are just being released. And just, I want you to picture yourself at the kitchen sink and you have a stack of dirty dishes and it's like caked on. And we turn on the sink, we put the hot bubbly water and we just let the dishes soak. And as you know, when we let the dishes soak, things fall off naturally, easily. And so as you're doing the dishes and you are washing the plates, that gunk that was once stuck is just falling off. And you don't need to be aware of this, but the unconscious knows exactly what to do with this information. Things that were once stuck within the mind are just releasing, just like the gunk on those plates of things just falling off, things releasing, moving, shifting, where your mind is updated, rebooted, refocused, releasing. And whenever you're ready, I just want you to take a deep breath in and just open your eyes whenever you're ready.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, let me know any thoughts, sensations, feelings during that time.
That was beautiful. Yeah, well, I feel very much relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting the pressure, or like someone's been like pushing me on the back of my head.
Okay.
So I was aware of that, but I felt very much relaxed inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I,
Let's check for that. Remember, I think it was a black spiky thing. Can you
mhm,
cause that?
mhm.
You cause that
Uh,
feeling? Yeah, remember
that
that.
feeling. Okay.
Were you able to
Uh,
cause that?
Not with that intensity. Like I'm a little bit, but it
Did you,
feels like not
yeah, so
fully.
like that, can you still see that black spiky ball or did it move or shift?
Just for a second, and then it disappeared. So yeah.
So that means, so what, like, you know how a thermometer reads outside, that means that there has been a internal shift for you, that things are moving.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And you'll notice things that we didn't even talk about are shifting and moving for you. Like you will notice things gradually moving forward. You'll be like, oh, that's weird. I haven't had that thought anymore, or I haven't done this anymore. And you'll just notice things over time shifting for you.
Beautiful. And I was so much aware, I've had that thought that it's going to help to clear any other thoughts that are not really serving me. So yeah, one of my spirit guides like was very, very well impressed and happy with what you've done for me. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
So that's something that you do for your clients. And what else do you do? Like, what are your offerings? And yes, so that people know how
Yeah,
they can
so
work with you.
I do workshops sometimes. I do in-person stuff and online, and so one of the ones online I'm doing right now is manifest that shit.
Okay.
So I do believe we are the creators of our life. However, there are a lot of things in our life that we aren't consciously aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the first time I heard about manifesting, I would get so upset because I had experienced a lot of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I never asked for those things.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to understand is that when we're children, we don't have a conscious mind up until 8 or 10, about there. So everything up until then gets programmed right to the subconscious mind. So know that there are things that happen in life and it's cause and effect. It's happening because something had happened to us from an earlier experience. So there's a lot of, like, I had a lot of trauma around men. I never wanted that. I wasn't attracting that. It was a rooted seed that had happened at a very young age, which then more experience happened over time, which then got the root and planted a weed, let's say. And so what's happening is, yes, we can create our life. However, there are things within the subconscious mind that we aren't even aware of. And until you get those limiting beliefs, those past experiences out, sometimes we will create patterns that we tend to not like or appreciate in our life. And I don't want people to get upset and be like, oh, I must be manifesting it. It's just that it's something within the unconscious mind, because whatever is going on in there, it shows up in our world. Not saying that you're doing it, and I don't believe you're doing it on purpose either, but there's a lot of junk out there that's telling people that they're creating this. And so that's one workshop, sorry. Cool. And then I do a lot of one-on-one with the RRT stuff, because I found that I love manifesting, but I was getting stuck because of past events and limiting beliefs that I had that were causing me to manifest things that I wasn't particularly liking. Where, for instance, when I say I had toxic relationships, there was just, like, the more that you have the same experience in life, the more that it will get ingrained within the subconscious mind. And so I've learned how to clear out those things. And then I also have to grow as well. So I love rapid resolution therapy for clearing out and detaching from things that you want in life. And then also, I also have social media. So Instagram, I'm always on there interacting with people. And I have a 3-month coaching program as well, but I use Reiki and all the other things to help speed up what's moving forward.
Beautiful. And I'm going to include all of the links to your social media, to your website, so the viewers and listeners can find you. And is there any final message, anything that you would like to share, something that can, I don't know, like the word hope comes to my mind, but like it can be anything else that comes to your mind, like
yes. If you have a desire to want more in life, there's a reason for it. From a very young age, I used to question, what is life? Is this it? Is this all? And I believe that you're having that experience because your soul is calling you for more. And so there are a lot of people I believe you need to surround yourself with like-minded people. So if you're surrounded with individuals who aren't growing and expanding, find yourself people that are growing and expanding, because you will be able to grow with them. And do not try to change people. People are who they are. You can inspire people by being you, and people will naturally follow you, but there will be people that won't, and that's okay too.
Well, thank you so much wisdom. I want to say again, like, thank you so much for agreeing to come and speak with me. It's been an honor. I really enjoyed listening to you, and I've learned a lot. And I want to say thank you to all of the viewers and the listeners. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.